Chapter 482. To everyone's surprise, Shui didn't beat around the bush or throw the question back at them. Instead, he openly admitted to his feelings for her. Not only did the live stream cause a sensation, but the hashtag Shui's confession hashtag also quickly became a trending topic on Weibo. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that it was the hottest topic on the internet. Ling Yi was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect Shui to give such an answer. He adjusted his mood and said with a smile, "After all, who wouldn't want to get close to such a warm person like Big Sister?" Shui glanced at him indifferently. For some reason, Ling Yi felt a dangerous aura from him. He had traveled through many worlds, and even if he had met people of high status or extremely powerful martial arts, none of them had made him as wary as the man in front of him. This guy. What kind of existence is he? Ling Yi suddenly felt uncertain. "Mr. Shui, are you afraid that I'll snatch Big Sister away?" He tilted his head and revealed a harmless smile. His facial features were exquisite, and his hair was slightly curly. He's really an angelic young man. As for whether or not he had Satan in his heart, that was still up for debate. "Shui, you won't be able to snatch her away." Ling Yi was curious. "Are you that confident?" The mature and noble man lowered his eyes and chuckled. "Because I believe in her taste. She'll definitely choose the best one." Xiao Naofu, who was secretly following behind the two of them, frowned when it heard this. It had the urge to spit out its furball. It had never seen such a shameless person. Ling Yi originally thought that Shui was a gentleman, modest, and polite person. However, the system's voice suddenly sounded in his mind. "According to my speculation, there's a 90% chance that he and Miss Xiangyi are together." F***ck. Ling Ye's feelings were very complicated. Soon, they walked to the side of the pond. Ling Yi obediently poured a glass of water for his master and then accompanied him to fish. Tianji took a sip and praised, "Osmanthus oolong? Tuskatiske. It turns out that cold-brewed tea has a different flavor too." Shui said, "Sister E has made a lot of tea bags recently. If Senior likes them, you can bring a few more flavors to try when you leave." Ling Yi heard the system say, "Look, he's already acting like the male host. Why don't we just forget about it? Miss Xiangyi is so beautiful, she's destined to be someone you can't get." Ling Yi fell silent for a moment as he recalled how popular Xiangyi was in other transmigration worlds. Fast transmigrators often experienced life and death, betrayal, separation, deception. Some people might have completed their mission, but they had lost their humanity. However, Xiangyi was still able to treat people with gentleness, which made her seem even more precious. He was so impatient that he didn't catch a single fish for a long time. On Shui's side, fish were lining up to take the bait. Tianji also caught a lot of fish. "It's almost time. Let's pack up and go back," Tianji said. Shui responded and threw the fish back into the pond. Releasing small fish was an old tradition for fishermen. Tianji asked, "Do you fish often? What's the highest record?" Most people would answer the number of fish they caught or what rare species they caught, but Shui smiled and said, "Those who are willing to take the bait." And it was a Sister E mermaid. Tianji was very experienced in life and understood everything with just 4 words. He squinted his eyes and smiled without saying anything. The next second, the cat's meow attracted everyone's attention. They saw the white, soft and fluffy Xiao Naofu blocking Ling Ye's way and roaring fiercely. "Meow, meow, meow." Chapter 483. Sup. Don't move. This hoo-hoo has something to say to you. Although Ling Yi didn't understand cat language, his system did and signaled for him to stop. "Is this cat a spirit?" "No, this is a godless world, so it's impossible for it to become a spirit," the system muttered to itself. According to speculation, it may be a creature from another plane, and the possibility of it being a fast transmigrator cannot be ruled out. Ling Yi thought for a moment and smiled at the cameraman. "It's dangerous for the kitten to be alone by the river. I'll accompany it for a while. Uncle, can you go back first?" In this world, Not many people could resist such a smile. The cameraman agreed to Ling Ye's request in a daze. Shi Sui pushed her gold-rimmed glasses and narrowed her eyes slightly. Tianji, children are so playful. Let him stay with the kitten. Let's go, I'll teach you how to play the Swona when we get back. Shi Sui couldn't help but laugh. The netizens knew that teacher Tian was joking, but they were still amused and couldn't stop laughing in front of their screens. By the pond. Xiao Naofu puffed out its chest and roared domineeringly, "Ah meow! Don't bully this stupid woman, she has this hoo-hoo to protect her." Ling Yi listened to the simultaneous translation in his mind, squatted down, and tried to scratch Xiao Naofu's chin. "You! How are you going to protect her?" Xiao Naofu responded with a fierce tiger claw. Ling Yi sucked in a breath of cold air, and a bloody mark appeared on the back of his pale hand. "It's quite fierce," he sighed. "Humph." Xiao Naofu rolled its eyes at him. Ling Yi simply sat down on the ground. He didn't mind the dirt and coughed twice in a low voice. "In order to show my sincerity, I promise you that I won't hurt her. However, shouldn't you also explain your identity, kitten?" Xiao Naofu was furious. As it yelled, the system translated, "Are you blind? I'm not a kitten, king idiot. Ahem, the profanity has been blocked for the host." "Hey, it mentioned systems and fast transmigrations." Ling Yi raised his eyebrows. "You're a fast transmigrator?" Xiao Naofu stared at him with its icy blue cat eyes, cautious and vigilant. "My system number 522, do you know it? I heard that it has a good reputation among systems." Xiao Naofu's eyes lit up. Every system had its own personality. For example, number 522 was the kind that was full of righteousness. In the heat of the moment, Xiao Naofu told her about his failed reincarnation. "I'll pass on your message to the main system." Ling Yi smiled warmly. "You're such a good person, so Xiongyi must like you as well." His slender fingers gently rubbed the back of Xiao Naofu's neck. Xiao Naofu was elated by the compliment and didn't avoid it this time. Ling Yi easily gained Xiao Naofu's trust and even managed to get a lot of information out of him. After coaxing Xiao Naofu into a trance and hopping back to the villa, he stood there with a cruel smile on his face. "What a naive kitten. You believe everything I say." In fact, his system was not number 522 at all. The system was silent for a while before asking, "Do you need me to transmit the bug information to the main system?" "No. Save. Intercept." Ling Yi coughed a few more times and clenched his sleeves tightly. "There must be something wrong with this plane." His voice was bewitching. "Baby, don't you want to transcend?" System. Not every fast transmigrator and system had such strong beliefs. "Maybe we can take advantage of the small bug in this plane to create a big one." Ling Ye's eyes were astonishingly bright. Chapter 484. Back at the villa, Shi Sui took the initiative to deal with the fish. Tianji asked in surprise, "Shi Sui, you're so good at cooking?" Shi Sui answered swiftly, "I learned a little from Sister Yi." With a loud bang, the fish was knocked out by him. The next scene was too gory, so there was no camera in the live stream. Tianji was full of praise for Shi Sui, but he had never been in the kitchen much in his life, so he had no choice but to stroll to the living room. He hummed 2 lines of Peking opera and his voice wasn't loud, but Xiongyi heard it. She turned her head and smiled faintly. "Is it locked up?" "Senior, you sing well." Tianji was amused. "Hey, little girl, you know Peking opera too?" Seemingly realizing that he had said something inappropriate, he corrected himself. "I'd like to clarify that I don't mean to discriminate against women. I'm just expressing my personal opinion and have no intention of causing a debate or encroaching on public resources. Please forgive me for my inappropriate language." His tone was melodious and amusing, and the live stream was instantly filled with laughter. Teacher Tian's desire to survive is too strong. Tianji is a walking joke. Just by standing there, I can laugh the whole day just by looking at him." Xiangyi burst into laughter, making her milky white face look radiant and stunning. "I don't know much, but my grandpa often listened to it when I was a child, so I know a few classic songs." Tianji, on the other hand, was itching to learn. In addition to folk music, he also liked to sing Peking opera, but his singing was only at the level of a fan. However, he especially liked teaching others how to sing, especially young people. Tianji cleared his throat. "How can you just listen to it? Come on, little girl, I'll teach you a few lines." Xiangyi froze for a moment, then closed the medical book in her hand and smiled. "Thank you, Teacher Tian." However, there were a lot of question marks in the live stream. "Sister E, wake up. Don't kid, other people need money to sing, but have you forgotten that your singing is life-threatening?" For those who don't understand why everyone is so confused, you can search for a single that Xiangyi once released. Some curious people really went to search for it. Title of the song: Cafes Closed on a Rainy Day. Oh wow, at first glance, it looked quite artistic. He clicked play. The moment she heard Xiangyi speak, his expression gradually cracked. No way, right? How could such a beautiful voice sing so badly? Not long after, a group of absent-minded netizens appeared in the live stream. "After listening to half of the song, I feel like becoming a monk. Where's the sound modifier? It can't be the original song, right? A person who knows so many musical instruments is tone deaf. This is F*King ridiculous." Someone replied, "Dear, it's not that there aren't sound editors. The version you're listening to now is already the edited version, everyone." She suddenly understood why Xiangyi was hated by the entire internet. It was fine if it was just lousy. The problem was, it was too rotten. There were also people who retorted, Sister E sang in Two Under One Roof before, it wasn't that bad. However, not everyone had seen that live stream, and the TV version wasn't broadcast there either. Hence, most people had already given up hope that Xiangyi would learn Peking opera. Some people even pressed the mute button, while others silently put on earplugs. Well, if they covered their ears, they wouldn't be able to hear Sister Yi's deadly voice. However, they still had to see her face. Some of Xiangyi's anti-fans rushed over when they heard the news, and they were so happy that they were about to cry. They had never seen the main character dissing herself like this. Wasn't this just rushing to give her dirt? They decisively turned the volume to the maximum and even turned on the screen recording function. Chapter 485. Hence, the live stream viewers were divided into two groups, those who liked to lick Tian's beauty and those who liked to record. Tianji drank a mouthful of water to moisten his throat and cleared his throat. "Come on, I'll sing a word and you'll sing a word." The anti-fans, tisk, tsk. Most people learn to sing word by word, but Tianji has to teach Vase Fairy word by word. You can imagine how good Vase Fairy is to him. However, as soon as Tianji opened his mouth, everyone was dumbfounded. Just the word spring alone was like flowing water, twisting and turning, winding and winding, but it had a unique charm of its own. Damn, this is too difficult, isn't it? That was the common thought of countless netizens who were watching the live stream. In the next second, Xiangyi hummed along with him. Her pitch was perfect and she even imitated the twists and turns of the song perfectly. Damn it, how did she learn it so quickly? This was the exclamation of countless netizens who sang along only to realize that they could only sing the quacking of ducks and geese. Tianji was also very surprised and he praised, "Good. Very good. Little girl, you're very talented." He taught even more energetically, and Xiangyi also learned very seriously. After breaking down each word, Tianji said, "I'll sing a complete sentence for you, listen carefully." Afraid that Xiangyi would feel pressured, he added, "It's okay if you can't learn it in one go." It was rare to meet someone with such a high level of comprehension. Even if he had to teach her a few more times, he would be willing to do so. Tianji clapped his hands to the beat and sang a whole sentence in a babbling voice. The netizens commented that they couldn't even learn a single word, let alone such a long sentence. Some anti-fans sneered. Waiting for a huge flop. A word is a word and a whole sentence is a whole sentence. How can Vase Fairy learn it in one go? I think this is similar to learning English. Everyone can recognize the 26 letters, but it's hard to say if they can be translated into words, let alone sentences. However, Spicy Tutu ignored them and focused on supporting Xiangyi. Wooly go. Xiangyi, Mama believes that you're the best. Sister E, just sing casually, don't feel pressured. Come on, let's go. Tianji clapped his hands for Xiangyi. The young girl sang along with the rhythm. Outside the pavilion of spring and autumn, there's a storm, huh? The netizens who had their voices turned on were stunned. Oh my God, how is this possible? The netizens who didn't turn on their voices were still joking. Shut up, we're on the same side. Beautiful eyes, seductive soul, beautiful voice, heartbreaking. Looking at the video, she seems to be quite engrossed in her singing. Friends who have turned on their voices, are you guys okay? However, after waiting for a long time, no one scolded Xiangyi. Instead, there were a bunch of strange comments. What the F***CK? This isn't real. Lip sync? He must be lip syncing. Mute party, huh? I've been waiting for so long. Why don't you guys spit on me? Could it be that it was so bad that he couldn't even spit it out? Someone reached out a little Giorgio that was testing the waters at the edge of danger and raised the volume by a notch. Tianji said excitedly, "Genius. Little girl, you are simply a genius." She felt that Tianji was going to say, "Damn it." Xiangyi said embarrassedly, "I happen to have heard this song before." Tianji's eyes lit up. "Sing a verse for me then." Xiangyi tried singing a verse. Tianji slapped his thigh and exclaimed, "Well sung. Little girl, I'll learn from you. Teach me." Everyone was dumbfounded. What? Teacher Tian? Are you the teacher or is Sister E the teacher? Chapter 486. When Ling Yi returned after fooling Xiao Naofu, he heard the master of this body pointing at Xiangyi and saying half-jokingly, "This is my master, your grandmaster." A question mark slowly appeared above the young man's head. He was just fooling the little kitten. How did his sister's seniority rise? Xiangyi, Senior Tian, don't joke around. I don't deserve to be called master. If you like Beijing opera, we can communicate more in the future. Tianji laughed and exchanged contact information with Xiangyi. Ling Ye's eyelashes fluttered, and he coughed for a while before whispering, "Sister, can I add you?" Xiangyi couldn't stand seeing such a pitiful expression on a good-looking person's face, so she added him. There was a buzz. It was a message from Ling Yi. "Little Yetsu. Sister, don't you want to know what my mission is this time?" Xiangyi was speechless. Well, it seemed that she had been deceived by the young man's appearance. "What little angel? He's clearly a little devil." She replied, "It has nothing to do with me." Ling Yi licked the corner of his lips and tapped the screen with his slender fingers elegantly as if he was dancing on the black and white piano keys. "Sister, you're so cold." He clicked on the emoji pack and chose for a long time before sending a pitiful kitten emoji that he was most satisfied with. However, a notification appeared on the screen. The message has been sent, but it was rejected by the other party. Did she blacklist him? Ling Ye's facial muscles twitched. On the other side, Tianji received a message. He closed his phone and looked at Li Jianyu. "Director Li, the new disciple I mentioned to you is here." Li Jianyu hurriedly said, "I'll arrange for someone to pick her up." Director Yen was the one who introduced Tianji to them. When Tianji proposed to bring two of his little disciples to the show, Li Jianyu naturally had no objections. He assumed that the other disciple was in the music industry, so he didn't care much about her identity. Xiangyi glanced at the kitchen. "Sure Sui is busy, I'll go pick her up." Ling Yi said, "I'll go too." "Okay, you two young people can run errands." "I won't go." I want to listen to Xiangyi's performance just now. Tianji took out his mobile phone. He had recorded Xiangyi's performance just now. The netizens joked that teacher Tian had failed to take in a disciple and had instead found himself a master. On the way to the entrance of the manor, Lingyi tried to strike up a conversation with Xiangyi several times. However, regardless of whether he acted cute or pitiful, Xiangyi was very polite to him. Distant politeness. Lingyi clenched his fists, feeling somewhat indignant. The netizens in the live stream couldn't stand it anymore. Sister E, pay attention to your brother. Woo, Sister E, you scumbag, your brother is about to cry cack. Lingyi is too cute. Why can't such an obedient child get Sister Yi's love? I don't really understand you women. If the genders were swapped, you would definitely be scolded and criticized for starting a harem. Why are you so excited when a woman starts a harem? None of your business. Do you need a reason to be a couple? Dog head. The summer wind blew, bringing with it a sticky and stuffy feeling. A black business car was parked at the entrance. It seemed low-key, but it was expensive. Lingyi stepped forward and opened the door for the person in the car. Xiangyi caught sight of a familiar face. She frowned slightly. Qin Wanyan, who had exquisite makeup and was dressed in a long dress, seemed to have been reborn. She looked at Xiangyi with a strong sense of superiority. She had now been chosen to be a fast transmigrator. Was Xiangyi worthy of being compared to her? What a joke. I've been suffering for 2 days because of my health, but I still haven't written much. I'm feeling pretty bad too. Sigh, I'll try to write more during the day under her. Smiley face, angle. Good night. Chapter 487. Hello, Miss Qin, Xiangyi greeted her calmly. Although they weren't close, there was nothing wrong with her manners. Qin Wanyan smiled at Xiangyi and said, Hello, Xiangyi. I'm teacher Tian's new disciple. Please take care of me in the future. The netizens were dumbfounded. Hello? Isn't this Qin Wanyan? I'm impressed. How did she manage to greet Xiangyi so calmly? If I were her, I would be so embarrassed that I would dig my toes into the ground. Is teacher Tian's taste bad? Qin Wanyan previously used her main account to pretend to be a pure white lotus and used her sub-account to defame Sister E. Have you all forgotten that she was exposed? However, Qin Wanyan had previously accumulated a group of loyal fans. After several rounds of abuse, the fans that remained were the type that would continue to support Qin Wanyan even if she were to commit murder and arson. They would form a logical and self-consistent fan base. Their fighting prowess was quite astonishing. Stop defaming our immortal Qin, okay? Immortal Qin was accepted by teacher Tian because of her musical talent. Some maggots should stop being jealous of our immortal Qin. Our little immortal Qin was too straightforward and said a few honest words. That's why she was banned by the vicious vase fairy. But who asked her to be so outstanding that she still managed to get the script of a strong woman's story? When the passers-by saw these comments, they didn't have a good impression of Qin Wanyan. Sometimes, the comments of fans would have a strong impact on the artiste. Qin Wanyan took the initiative to hold onto Xiangyi's arm, but the latter quietly avoided her. She had no choice but to take a step back and leave with Lingyi. To her surprise, Lingyi shook her off and chased after Xiangyi pitifully while panting. Sister, wait. You're walking too fast. Qin Wanyan was speechless. Wait, what's wrong with this person? Isn't Lingyi here to help me achieve a perfect life? Why isn't he treating me well and sticking to Xiangyi instead? Xiangyi glanced at the cold sweat on Lingyi's forehead and slowed down her pace. They remained silent the entire way. Back in the living room, Tianji's eyes narrowed into slits when he saw Qin Wanyan. He took the initiative to introduce her to everyone. This is my new disciple. She's the best at playing the suona. Qin Wanyan's expression froze. She just wanted to use her identity as Tianji's disciple as a springboard to climb to the top of the entertainment industry step by step. She didn't really want to do folk music. What's more, it was an unpresentable instrument like the suona. Qin Wanyan hated Tianji to death in her heart. Why did he mention that she was playing the Suona in front of so many people? Reality proved that Qin Wanyan's worries were not unfounded. As soon as Tianji's introduction came out, the live stream room was filled with laughter. The people who were the most confused were her fans.
Huh?
What? Is Immortal Qin playing the Suona? Isn't it a Guqin? When our little fairy plays the Suona, she must be a fairy too, right? When Teacher Tian mentioned his beloved disciple, he couldn't stop talking. He knew that Qin Wanyan wanted to be famous, so he deliberately helped her make her presence known to the netizens. Come, it's the evening smoke. Let's blow it for everyone. For a moment, the situation was extremely awkward. Hey, don't be shy. Why don't you get Ling Yi to accompany you? Teacher Xiang, do you know how to play the Sanxian too? Can you give me a hand? Sure. Qin Wanyan found it hard to turn down such a generous offer. She had no choice but to dawdle and take out the Suona. Her expression and mood were as if she was going to visit a grave. Chapter 488. Ling Yi had brought a Guqin with him in the car. When he took it out, the simple design of the Guqin amazed many people. Everyone knew that he was very accomplished in the piano, but they were curious about his Guqin skills. Xiangyi also took out her Sanxian. The Guqin was black and decorated with red paint patterns. The 3 strings were exquisite, and the 2 sides of the Guqin were covered with snake skin. The 2 Guqins looked ancient and charming. The Suona that Qin Wanyan took out was carefully made by Tianji. The mouth of the Suona was golden, and there was a piece of red silk cloth tied to it. It looked very festive. Qin Wanyan tried to secretly remove the red cloth, but she met Tianji's sad eyes. Child, this is beautiful. Why can't you understand Master's aesthetics? She put on a fake smile. Master, I like it. I just want to tidy it up. Let me do it. Tianji volunteered and removed the red silk cloth. After thinking for a while, he retied it into a fluffy bow. Well, my little disciple is a girl. She should like it. Little did he know that Qin Wanyan had already cursed his ancestors in her heart. What bow? It's so old-fashioned. She hated Ling Yi even more. There were so many musical instrument skill cards in the system store, but he recommended her to choose the Suona card. Wasn't he deliberately tricking her? However, when she met Ling Ye's innocent eyes, she was confused again. Perhaps Ling Yi was really just being nice? All kinds of complicated feelings intertwined in her heart. She heard Tianji say, "Then let's play, carrying the bridal sedan." Shi Sui, don't mess with the fish. Come out and listen. This song is very festive. Hearing the sound, Shi Sui wiped his hands and came out of the kitchen. His eyes fell on Xiangyi. Seeing that the girl's hair was slightly messy, he strode forward and took out a hair clip with a bow from his pocket. He fixed the girl's scattered hair. Xiangyi licked her lips uncomfortably. Thank you. Shi Sui chuckled. You're welcome. Qin Wanyan felt depressed. Xiangyi's bow was a scene from an idol drama. Her bow was a scene from a village drama. Gritting her teeth, Qin Wanyan steeled her heart and picked up the Suona. She was the one who could achieve a perfect life. What did a mere Xiangyi count for? That idiot must not even know what fast transmigration is. At the same time, Ling Yi and Xiangyi started to play the prelude. The Guqin sound was akin to high mountains and flowing rivers, deep and distant, while the Sanxian sound was akin to the ringing of a bell, deep and clear. In terms of timbre alone, the two were actually not very suitable for this song. However, after the delicate and skillful performance of the two, it gave off a different feeling. The netizens in the live stream praised group went online. Wow, this song is so good. Sister E and her brother have such chemistry. Woo-woo, I feel like the two of them are soul mates when it comes to music. Zhang Jojo, what about me? It's obviously a story of 3 people, but I'm not worthy of a name? Smile smile. However, The moment Qin Wanyan puffed up her cheeks and blew the suona, be it the plucked strings of the guqin or the glissando, they could no longer be heard. His ears were filled with the shocking penetrating power of the hooligan suona. Beep, 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 beep. In particular, the cameraman even gave Qin Wanyan a close-up shot. The screen was full of images of Qin Wanyan puffing up her cheeks and shaking her head while playing the suona. Qin Wanyan's loyal fans were dumbfounded. "Where's our little fairy? I suddenly want to quit being her fan." Chapter 489. That scene was so delightful that it made them hate Qin Wanyan even more. "Ha ha ha ha, I can't take it anymore, I'm laughing so hard that I'm out of breath. I've gradually forgotten that Qin Wanyan used to be the lead singer of a girl group. She's actually quite good at playing, but why are her cheeks so big?" The layman enjoyed the show while the expert enjoyed the intricacies. Others found Qin Wanyan to be hilarious, but Tianji was mesmerized by her performance. She's a rare talent that only appears once in a decade. His lung capacity, his rhythm, and his emotions could only be described with one word: spot on. It's too much to add and too little to subtract. However, Shi Sui felt a strong sense of disconnect. It was very familiar. His slender, jade-like fingers with distinct joints slowly tapped on the table. All of a sudden, he stopped. Shi Sui raised his hand and adjusted his gold-rimmed glasses, his eyes gloomy and gloomy. He recalled where he had felt that feeling before. It was Xiangyi in the past year. Qin Wanyan felt like a completely different person when she was playing the suona. It was as if she wasn't the one playing the suona, but something in her body that was controlling her. Xiao Naofu, who was in the cat villa, was woken up by the sound of the suona. It looked at the source of the sound with sleepy eyes. Meow. Its fur immediately stood up. Little Shiji, who was sleeping next to it, hurriedly licked it with its watery black eyes full of bewilderment. Woof. Xiao Naofu pushed little Shiji away with its paws and stared at Qin Wanyan with its icy blue eyes. Little Shiji nestled next to it aggrievedly with its ears drooping. Xiao Naofu was completely dumbfounded. Why is there another fast transmigrator? This doesn't make sense. There must be something wrong. The song came to an end. Qin Wanyan put down the suona and felt a sudden soreness in her facial muscles. In fact, she didn't know how to play the suona at all. Every time she played it, it was because of the skill card. Good. Tianji exclaimed with a radiant smile and tried his best to applaud his disciple. Out of politeness, Shi Sui also clapped twice. Qin Wanyan's eyes lit up when she saw him applaud. Could it be that Shi Sui had a whole new level of respect for her? Actually, the person he liked now was her fresh, refined, and unconventional self? She asked the system in her mind, "I want to conquer him. Help me think of a way." The one assigned to Qin Wanyan was a new system. It said weakly, "Host, he is not within the scope of your mission. Qin Wanyan, don't you exist to help me achieve a perfect life? Then, in addition to my career, I also need to have love, so he is also a part of my perfect life." The little system said, please wait for a moment, I need to check the database." Qin Wanyan said disdainfully, "How useless." The little system, "Woo. In any case, I have Lingyi helping me. Helping me is his mission. It's only right and proper." Qin Wanyan was brimming with confidence. "Give me another beauty filter card. Host, points are very precious. It is not recommended to exchange for this item. This item will only add to your original beauty. Disobedient? Do you think I won't replace you?" Successfully exchanged for the card. Qin Wanyan couldn't wait to use the card. Her long dress swayed gracefully as she walked toward Shi Sui. Tianji encouraged her, "Keep up the good work." "Thank you, teacher." Qin Wanyan smiled and looked at Shi Sui. "Senior Shi, what do you think of my performance?" Shi Sui, "Miss Qin, your eyelids are falling." He paused and asked sincerely, "Do you need glue?" Chapter 490. Qin Wanyan's expression collapsed. Feeling angry and panicked, she quickly turned her back to the camera and used her phone as a mirror to search for her eyelids. Sure enough, half of the eyelid sticker had fallen off. Just as she was thinking about how to remedy the situation, a pair of pale and slender fingers suddenly appeared in front of her and tore off her eyelid sticker. Ling Yi said innocently, "Sister Wanyan, where's the glue? I'll help you put it back on." Qin Wanyan was speechless. "So be it, why did you have to tear it off first?" After tearing off the eyelid sticker, Qin Wanyan's eyes had become single pairs. Even with the enhancement of the beauty filter card, her looks were still affected. The netizens in the live stream were laughing like crazy. What kind of straight man is Shi Yingdi speaking? Ling Ye's brother is also very straight. He even wants to help her stick it on, ha ha ha. Ah, single eyelids really do affect one's looks. Even a beauty like Qin Wanyan can't stand it. How dare she call herself a beauty in front of Sister Yi? Sister Yi can beat her without makeup. She's wearing heavy makeup, so she's just bragging with her eyes closed, right? At the side, Xiangyi sneezed. Before she could reach for the tissue box, Shi Sui had already pulled out a tissue and stuffed it into her hand. She then got up to pour her a cup of hot tea. When she returned with the tea, she wrapped the small blanket around her again. This set of movements was smooth and natural. Qin Wanyan was dumbfounded. The netizens watching the live stream were also dumbfounded. Who just said that Shi Yingdi is straight? Ah, the way he lowered his head to cover Sister Yi with the blanket is so cool. What kind of godly man is this? Seriously, from now on, all the male protagonists in romance novels have faces. Shi Yingdi's double standards have won my heart. My family is very satisfied. I just don't know if Sister Yi has been enlightened. Boo-hoo, Sister Yi, this man likes you, do you know? Tianji told Qin Wanyan, who had just finished touching up her makeup, about the things to take note of when playing the suona. You can play it even better, first of all, the technique. Qin Wanyan listened absent-mindedly, feeling that this old man was so annoying. She had the system as her golden finger, so she didn't have to worry about not knowing how to play the suona. Tianji seemed to see her impatience. He sighed but was not angry. He only said, "Wanyan, you have to calm down. Look at Teacher Xiang. There's a saying that goes, 1,000 days for the pipa, 100 days for the zither, and half a lifetime for the sanxian." For her to have such achievements at such a young age, she must have put in a lot of hard work. Qin Wanyan grew even more frustrated. How could Xiangyi compare to her? She was a fast transmigrator. What was Xiangyi to him? She already had a cheat in her life, so why would she still painstakingly learn such useless things? Tianji let out another long sigh. He didn't show his dissatisfaction with Qin Wanyan's temperament in the live broadcast room. Qin Wanyan's thoughts weren't on him at all. Instead, she was searching for Shi Sui. She watched as the refined, abstinent, and elegant man rolled up his sleeves and went to the kitchen to cook fish. Xiangyi leaned against the doorframe and explained the cooking steps to him. From time to time, their gazes met in the air. Shi Sui would always smile gently and dotingly. He would never smile at her like that. Qin Wanyan's fingertips sank into her palms. She slowly exhaled and pretended that nothing had happened as she walked to Xiangyi's side. "Sister Yi, I heard that you've done a lot of charity work and donated a lot of money to the Spring Flower Foundation. I recently saw some reports about the lack of hygiene products for the girls left behind. I want to do something to help. Can you tell me what I should do?" Chapter 491. Hearing Qin Wanyan's words, Xiangyi's anti-fans in the live stream were stunned. Huh? The vase fairy actually does charity? Philanthropists are often equated with kind-hearted people. Everyone's favorable impression of Xiang Yi instantly rose by a lot. Some even expressed that they would never criticize Xiangyi again. "I was wrong, the vase fairy. Oh no, the little vase is actually so kind. I can't criticize her anymore." Xiangyi said calmly, "You can consult a professional organization." Qin Wanyan pretended to be surprised. Huh? When you do charity, don't you do it yourself? Xiongyi looked at her strangely. What do you think counts as charity? At least, you should personally go to the orphanages and nursing homes to accompany the poor elderly and children, and give them some rice, flour, oil, and daily necessities. Xiongyi nodded. I see. She ignored Qin Wanyan and went to help Shi Sui prepare the fish with pickled cabbage. The netizens were dumbfounded. That's it? That's it? Qin Wanyan is quite likable. Has Xiongyi really done charity? Why do I feel like she hasn't done anything like what Qin Wanyan said? Damn, there's something to eat, friends. Mrs. Tsen and the Spring Flower Foundation have posted on Weibo. The current state of the internet was that everyone would come to eat when there was something to eat. Everyone rushed to Weibo like bees in a field of melons. The Spring Flower Foundation was a private charity that was very well known. The founder was Mrs. Tsen from the socialite circle of Nanqing. She had an elegant demeanor and often shared her daily life online. Hence, she had many fans. Just a few minutes ago, she updated her personal Weibo account. Tsen Suqin, lies grow all year round. The Spring Flower Foundation's official Weibo account also updated. Spring Flower Foundation. Due to receiving too many private messages, we solemnly declare that our foundation has never received any donations from Ms. Xiongyi. Thank you for your support of the Spring Flower Foundation. We would like to express our gratitude to the kind-hearted people in society. Charity is not easy, and we have no intention of encroaching on public resources. We only hope that a small organization like us will not be taken advantage of again. As soon as these 2 Weibo posts were posted, it instantly caused a stir. The amount of information he had was too much. Nanny, so who's lying? Didn't she say it very clearly? She didn't receive a single cent of Xiongyi's donation. Everyone, calm down. Qin Wanyan was the one who said Sister E donated, not Sister E herself. So Xiongyi cheated the donation? Why do you say you're doing charity if you're not donating? Ah, really? He couldn't tell that she was this kind of person. Disgusting. F*CK. Xiongyi is scamming donations? Such a big melon must be pushed to the top of the hot searches. The more the rumors spread, the more outrageous they became. In the end, the passers-by didn't care about the truth. They just caught on to the words, Xiongyi's donation fraud, and started to scold her. Using charity to clear one's name was something everyone hated. What's more, using charity to gain popularity. As for the Spring Flower Foundation, it had unknowingly increased its popularity. In a short period of time, it had received a large amount of donations. Qin Wanyan hid from the camera and secretly played with her phone. After seeing the developments on the internet, she sent Tsen Tai a message. Tsen Tai, don't forget about the resources we agreed on. She locked her phone screen and smiled. Xiongyi is doing charity? How is that possible? Qin Wanyan had known Xiongyi for a year and was well aware of her true nature. She was an extremely selfish person. She deserves to be labeled as a scammer. Chapter 492. Apart from Qin Wanyan, the other guests were unaware of the public opinion on the internet. Li Jianyu and the others saw it and were having a headache over how to deal with it. Why do I feel like this Spring Flower Foundation is trying to scam Sister E? Li Jianyu complained. Normally, there would be some time for official accounts to react to such a matter. However, as soon as Qin Wanyan asked the question in the live stream, the Spring Flower Foundation's official account immediately issued a statement to clarify the matter. The timing was too delicate. Ruan Qing said, "Let's continue with the live stream first. The Public Relations Department of Tomato Entertainment should be able to handle it. We'll see what happens later. If there's a need for cooperation, we'll get Sister E to clarify the matter in the live stream. That'll be more efficient." Seeing that she had arranged everything in an orderly manner, Li Jianyu scratched his head and said, "I suddenly feel like I've been worrying for nothing. Well, Sister E is now the CEO of Tomato Entertainment. The CEO of Stars Entertainment is my uncle and the eldest brother of Lin Chen Law Firm. The power of these two people alone is enough to subvert the entertainment industry. Not to mention, I still have Xiang Yi, and Madame Xiang. 3 dishes and a soup were served on the dining table. Xiang Yi had been itching to cook with her uninjured hand, but she was stopped by Shi Sui. Everyone, try it. If you don't like it, don't force yourself. We can still order takeout, Shi Sui said with a gentle and elegant smile. Although everyone had different thoughts, they still had to eat. They picked up their chopsticks and tasted the main dish first, pickled fish with pickled cabbage. The fish was a carp that Tianji had caught. It was large and plump. Shi Sui sliced the fish into slices and added the seasoning that Xiang Yi had put in. She then added egg white and stirred it evenly so that every piece of fish was coated with egg pulp. That was the secret to making the fish fresh and tender. After deep frying pickled peppers, Sichuan peppers, sesame peppers, garlic cloves, and other ingredients until they were fragrant, she added pickled cabbage and fish slices to stir-fry them together. Then, she added the separated fish meat and bones and slowly placed them in the casserole. The final product was a creamy white and fragrant fish soup. The fish meat was fresh and tender, the pickled cabbage was glistening, and the red chili peppers. It was visually and fragrant. Tianji tasted it with his chopsticks and praised, "Oh, Shi Sui, your culinary skills are amazing. Any girl who marries you will be blessed." Shi Sui smiled. Tianji changed the topic, but it's a new era now. Men and women are equal. It's the same if you marry into the family. I'm marrying into her family. I've had a good relationship with my wife for so many years. Let's eat soft rice. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Netizens. At this moment, no one had the time to scold Xiang Yi for fraud. Everyone's attention was diverted. Marry into the family? Shengdi married Sister E? It seems pretty good too. Isn't Sister E hiding Jiao Jiao in the manor now? Shengdi is Sister Yi's Jiao Jiao baby duck. Once I accept the fact that Shengdi is Xiao Jiao Jiao. Oh my god, I want to write a fanfic. The sister in front, here's the keyboard, hurry up. Under everyone's focus, Shi Sui smiled and said, "Thank you for your advice, senior. I'll consider it." Xiang Yi choked and coughed. She wanted to vomit, but she was a little far from the trash can. In the next second, the man's fair and slender hand appeared in front of her. Shi Sui tilted her head slightly and removed her gold-rimmed glasses. Her peach blossom eyes seemed to contain deep emotions and were very seductive. His voice was low and magnetic, without a trace of reluctance. "Vomit on my hand." Chapter 493. Ling Yi, who was about to pick up the trash can and move it to Xiang Yi's feet, froze in midair. Damn. This man is even better at love than all the other fast transmigrators I've seen. Qin Wanyan's eyes were filled with disbelief. Why is this man so unreachable to me, treating Xiang Yi so well? She should be the one chosen by the heavens. Tianji, on the other hand, was smiling like an uncle, as if he was taking the lead in making love. Xiang Yi was stunned for a moment before she shook her head to indicate that it was dirty. Shi Sui, however, said, "It's okay, I'll wash my hands later." His words seemed to have a bewitching charm. Xiang Yi subconsciously spat out the pickled pepper on his palm. The clear lines on his palm were stained with food residue. Even though he was a clean freak, his expression didn't change at all. His eyes were filled with gentleness. The fans of the untimely couple exclaimed, "Oh my god, I've hit it again." Xiang Yi felt as if she was soaking in a jar of honey water. It was sweet and warm. Her face was no longer as calm as before. Instead, she was smiling brightly. She looked like a young girl. Ling Yi looked at the small interaction between the two of them, and a hint of yearning flashed past the depths of his eyes. Not everyone was willing to transmigrate for missions. Killing, scheming against each other, life and death parting. One world after another, they didn't even have a chance to catch their breath. No matter how deep their friendship was, it would disappear by the time they reached the next world. The more memories there were, the more painful it would be. Ling Ye's desire to stay in this world became stronger and stronger. Xiangyi had a fatal attraction to him. It wasn't just the feelings between a man and a woman. It was also a sense of belonging, like a chick returning to its nest. He could feel that he was jealous of Shi Sui. Ling Yi coughed softly and raised his hand to scoop up the pickled fish. However, due to his absent-mindedness, he accidentally knocked over the sky-blue soup bowl. In an instant, the fish slices and pickled vegetables all spilled out, and the soup flowed down the table. It was rare for Ling Yi to be in such a sorry state. Feeling uneasy, he took out a tissue to wipe the table, but the tissue was quickly used up. In a moment of desperation, he wanted to wipe the table with the hem of his shirt, but Xiangyi stopped him. The young man looked up with a layer of mist in his amber eyes. "Sister," Xiangyi said, "sit still. I'll get a rag." Ling Yi felt like he was sitting on pins and needles as she took out the rag. He was rarely afraid of anything, but now, he was a little afraid. He was afraid that Xiangyi would scold him. However, Xiangyi just took a few pieces of cloth and gave one to Shi Sui. Shi Sui wiped the table skillfully. It was obvious that she had done a lot of housework. Xiangyi handed another rag to Ling Yi. "Here, wipe your hands." Ling Yi anxiously waited for her to continue. After waiting for a long time, she only said, "What's wrong? Are you scalded?" Ling Yi couldn't accurately describe his feelings at that moment. He pursed his lips and said, "Sorry, I spilled the vegetables." "Everyone makes mistakes like this." The young girl wiped the area that Shi Sui had wiped. "There's still some left in the pot. Can you go and get another bowl?" Qin Wanyan retorted, "Xiangyi, Ling Ye's hands need to play the zither and piano. How can you let his hands do such vulgar work?" She thought that she had hit the nail on the head. The next second, Ling Yi said without hesitation, "I can do it." He then glanced at Qin Wanyan. "A man's hands can do anything." Qin Wanyan. Chapter 494. Wait, are you my assistant or Xiangyi's lackey? Why did you betray me just like that? Qin Wanyan couldn't figure it out. As for Ling Yi, the way he went to scoop a bowl of rice made it seem as if he was going to complete some important mission. "Wait a minute." Xiangyi suddenly called out to him. Ling Yi looked back nervously. Sis? Don't fill it too full. It'll burn you if it spills." Ling Yi knew that this was just a casual reminder. If it were anyone else, she would have said the same thing. However, Ling Ye's heart still skipped a beat. Even in the most fearful and despairing world, he still had an unyielding will. Only in front of her, would he submit to her gentleness. Ling Yi realized that he still couldn't resist her. Qin Wanyan volunteered. "I'll go with him." She didn't let the cameraman follow them. When they passed by an area without cameras, she signaled for Ling Yi to turn off his microphone. Ling Yi lazily turned it off. "What's the matter?" Qin Wanyan couldn't keep her cool. "Ling Yi, what's the meaning of this? Are you trying to ruin my show in front of everyone?" "Am I?" Ling Yi blinked innocently. His angelic face looked even more pitiful than a girl's when he showed weakness. "Sis Wanyan, you misunderstood me. I just want to perform well. If I have popularity, I can help you better, Sister Wanyan." Qin Wanyan was obviously shaken. The youth seized the opportunity to question her. "Sis Wanyan, do you not trust me? If that's the case, I might not be able to help you." Qin Wanyan was anxious. "Don't you want to complete your mission?" "Of course I want to." Like hell he wanted to. A safe and stable plane like this was something that could only be encountered by chance. To Ling Yi, it was no different from a vacation. Of course he didn't want to leave. He even wanted to stay here forever. But Ling Yi looked conflicted. "But Sis Wanyan, if you don't trust me, I won't be able to cooperate with you. Qin Wanyan felt that Ling Yi was still useful when she thought about the convenience he had created for her. Thus, she softened her tone and comforted him. Don't think too much. I'm just afraid that you'll be charmed by that woman Xiangyi. She's an idiot. Look at how she's being cursed on the internet. Ling Yi suddenly narrowed his eyes as a sharp glint appeared in his amber eyes. By the way, is there any way for me to quickly conquer She Sui? It would be best if I could replace Xiangyi and become a permanent guest of Two Under One Roof. Wouldn't I be able to complete my career and obtain love at the same time? Sister Wanyan wants to snatch away Xiangyi's things? Ling Yi asked. Qin Wanyan was filled with a sense of superiority. That should have been mine in the first place. I'm the chosen one. Who does she think she is? He's just an ordinary person. Ling Yi smiled and said, Sister Wanyan, it's not good to be too greedy. Qin Wanyan frowned. She had a feeling that Ling Yi was implying something, but his expression was too harmless. She suppressed her suspicions towards Ling Yi and threatened, If you don't help me properly, I'll make sure that you can't complete your mission. Ling Yi lowered his eyelids and replied obediently, I know. By the time a new bowl of fish with pickled cabbage was served, the comments in the live broadcast room were already unbearable. Countless netizens on Weibo were either sarcastic or filled with righteous indignation, but all of them were criticizing Xiangyi. Thank you, Ms. Xiang, for donating the heir to the Spring Flower Foundation. You haven't done anything yet you want to suck blood? Dream on. Come out and get beaten up. You're still in the mood to eat? Do you know how many children can't even afford to eat? I know. Sob sob. Good night. Chapter 495. These netizens were all there because of Ms. Tsen and the Spring Flower Foundation. Hence, it was only natural for them to target Xiangyi. Even though Tomato Entertainment immediately clarified that Xiangyi did not mention donating to the Spring Flower Foundation and that it was Qin Wanyan who mentioned it, there were still people who retorted. Since she didn't donate, why didn't she refute Qin Wanyan when she mentioned it? Instead, she tried to ride on Qin Wanyan's coattails. The Public Relations Department was speechless. This batch of netizens is so stubborn. Are you all the reincarnations of Archimedes? At the same time, the Spring Flower Foundation's official Weibo account updated a long post with pictures and text, describing how their organization had gone to a mountain village to donate sanitary products to the girls there. There was a paragraph written on Weibo, Xiao Zhu is 13 years old this year and her monthly allowance is only 20 yuan. Sanitary pads are a huge burden to her. She once thought about dropping out of school. However, our arrival caused stars to appear in Little Bamboo's eyes. Coupled with a photo of a mountain village girl smiling innocently at the camera, as well as a letter written by a young girl, many netizens were moved to tears, especially the female netizens. Sob sob, you girls are living such a miserable life. I'll donate money to you now. Don't be afraid. I'm here. I won't let you suffer like I did back then. The Spring Flower Foundation is the real charity. Celebrities like Xiangyi who only know how to ride on others' coattails are disgusting. Now that you compare them, they're both fair, rich, and beautiful, but the difference is huge. Ms. Tsen is practically an angel on earth. Ms. Xiang, don't try to wash away some maggots. Your steam won't be able to wash them clean. The Spicy Tutu fans were dumbfounded. What's with these people's logic? Ride on others' coattails? Who exactly is riding on others' coattails? Although Ms. Tsen was famous, she was only an internet celebrity. Xiangyi was now an A-list celebrity who had been certified by national news. As for the Spring Flower Foundation, they had received so many donations, but they hadn't even released a single financial statement after so long. Who knew where the money had gone? Taking 10,000 steps back, even if Xiangyi really didn't do charity, what was there to mock? At first, Spicy Tutu couldn't take it anymore and went to talk to the netizens. However, she was quickly stopped by the big fans. On the internet, we represent Xiangyi and we can't bring trouble to her. Tutu girls, don't panic, we have to believe in Xiangyi. It had to be said that the spicy tutu girls were all highly disciplined. After some guidance, apart from a few who were a little agitated, most of them had calmed down. That's right, they had to believe in Xiangyi. On the other hand, Ms. Tsen had bought a few hot searches for herself. For a moment, she was in the limelight on Weibo, and her number of fans increased rapidly. At this moment, among the loving family, Xiang Qi, who liked to surf the internet, forwarded the Weibo post to the group and added a lot of angry emojis. Sanbao, I'm so angry. What kind of purebred idiot is this? I want to throw a sewing machine at them. Sanbao, ? Who changed the group nickname? So lame. Come out and accept your death. Dabao. Little sister changed it. Sanbao. Sanbao has withdrawn a message. Sanbao, wow. Little sister's name is so cute, heartwarming, and loving. Dabao, Airbao, Sanbao, Sibao, Xiaobao, we're an auspicious and happy family. Dabao, big brother, don't you think so? Big brother, are you there? Are you thirsty? Are you hungry? Sibao. Third brother, you have no integrity. Chapter 496. Sangchen didn't reply. Instead, Xiangli popped up and sent a smiley emoticon with an unclear meaning. Sanbao. Second brother, don't smile like that. I'm afraid of crying. Sibao. Third brother, don't flatter yourself. Maybe he wasn't smiling at you. Sanbao, ? Jokes aside, he still had to protect his sister. Sanbao, it's just a trending topic. Who doesn't know how to be on it? Not long after that, #Hades's personal show hashtag trended at an astonishing speed on Weibo. When the fashion industry saw this, they were shocked. The genius Hades, who had been away for a long time, was returning. Not only did Hades's studio announce the upcoming show, but they also released a set of 9 ready-to-wear designs. Each design was unbelievably beautiful. However, the studio claimed that these were the 9 designs that they were most dissatisfied with among Hades's works this time. Instantly, all the big shots in the fashion industry reposted it, but the content was all. Countless fashion designers tearfully typed, "Is this what a genius is? If I can design one in my lifetime, I'll die with no regrets." The netizens' comments also exploded, F***CK, it's so good. Is there a link? Looks like this year's fashion style is going to be redefined. Hades? What's his relationship with Kelsey? Are they brothers? Ms. Tsen saw that the netizens' attention was shifting. She couldn't bear to lose the popularity, so she spent money to buy a new trending topic. This time, the Spring Flower Foundation released a video of an interview with the girls who stayed behind. The girls in the video had timid eyes and avoided the camera. However, from their words, one could feel their helplessness and sadness. Coupled with the emotional soundtrack and artistic editing, as well as the popularity of the trending topic, the video quickly went viral. The Spring Flower Foundation once again took the top spot on the trending topic. However, within a few minutes, a new trending topic appeared. #Team Logic World Championship. The first to stir up was the esports industry. F***CK. They won the championship. No need to say anything else. Logic is awesome. It's over. All of a sudden, Weibo became a carnival for esports fans. Ordinary netizens might not be able to understand the gameplay, but this was an international competition. The international tournament. Forget it, to be able to win the world championship, they must be praised. Especially when the video of the 5-man team of Logic going on stage to receive the award went viral, the popularity reached a terrifying level. Ah, who's the younger brother in the center? I'm screaming like a groundhog. Are you sure you won't debut with such a good-looking face? F***CK, that side profile, that height, when his teammate hugged him just now, he rubbed against his shirt and even exposed the outline of his abs. Isn't this the standard image of a male lead in an esports novel? Madame Tsen watched helplessly as the trending topic that she had bought fell again. She called the staff to question them, but the other party's response was particularly shameless. "We can't do anything about this. The other party's trending topic is real traffic. Our server is about to crash. In other words, your trending searches are all fake. How can you blame us?" Madame Tsen was speechless for a moment before she said irritably, "I'll pay more. You guys have to stay in the top 3 for me." The staff immediately agreed, thinking that this lady had already been squeezed out of the trending topic twice. She shouldn't be so unlucky again, right? Chapter 497. After adding the money, Ms. Tsen felt her heart ache. She was afraid that the money would go to waste, so she contacted Qin Wanyan and told her to mention the Spring Flower Foundation on the show. It would be best if she could talk to Xiangyi directly. Ms. Tsen had already realized that Xiangyi was now a walking celebrity. As long as she became a hot topic, the Spring Flower Foundation would definitely receive more donations. After receiving the news, Qin Wanyan was a little anxious. She had already made it obvious enough the last time. If she did it again, what if she caused trouble? However, Ms. Tsen was introduced to her by Ling Yi, and she wanted to use Ms. Tsen to enter the upper-class socialite circle. For the sake of this precious connection, Qin Wanyan gritted her teeth and steeled her heart as she followed behind Xiangyi. Xiangyi was dumbfounded. Qin Wanyan said with a fake smile, "Sister Yi, where are you going?" "I'll accompany you." "To the wine cellar." Seeing that Tianji liked peach wine very much, she wanted to get 2 jars for him to take away when he left. Since she was a guest, she had to treat her with respect. This was a principle that Xiang Yi's grandfather had taught her since she was a child. Hence, she was also polite to Qin Wanyan. Little did she know that this gave Qin Wanyan the illusion that Xiangyi was a pushover and didn't hold it against her. She affectionately reached out to hold Xiangyi's arm, but the girl quietly avoided her with a sidestep. Qin Wanyan pretended to stroke her hair to hide her embarrassment. Blinking her exquisite eye makeup, she asked, "Wow, Sister Yi, you even have a wine cellar at home. I'm so envious. When I was young, my family was poor and lived in the village. I also had a cellar, but it was used to store sweet potatoes." Qin Wanyan's words aroused the sympathy of many people. They were both goddesses. However, their lives were like the difference between the clouds in the sky and the mud on the ground. Ah, Qin Wanyan is quite pitiful. She climbed from the bottom to where she is now, unlike Xiangyi, who was born fair, rich, and beautiful. Ha ha, Xiangyi is so extravagant. Other people's cellars are used to make a living, but hers is used for pleasure. Comparisons are odious. You're already so rich, what's wrong with doing some charity? No wonder people say that rich people are stingy and stingy. The bullet screen was full of scolding. It was as if Xiangyi going to get some wine was a heinous crime. Qin Wanyan led the way. By the time they reached the wine cellar, their mouths were already dry. The little system reminded her several times that the more she spoke, the more mistakes she would make. However, Qin Wanyan always retorted back in annoyance. What kind of stupid system was this? She was the host, so it should listen to her. Xiangyi's attitude towards her was indifferent from the beginning to the end. She gave Tianji 2 jars of peach wine and politely asked Qin Wanyan if she wanted the wine she brewed. Qin Wanyan didn't like the wine she brewed herself. She was afraid that the bacteria in it would cause food poisoning. Her eyes dotted around and landed on the red wine rack not far away. She pointed to a bottle of red wine that she couldn't understand. "Sister Yi, can I have this?" "Xiangyi, sorry, the wine over there is my brother's collection. I can't make the decision for them. This is the wine I brewed myself. You can choose whatever you want." Although the Xiang siblings were close, they were very principled. Even if it was Xiangyi's childhood toy, without her permission, the brothers would never give it to other children. Qin Wanyan pretended to be surprised and covered her mouth. "Aren't you very close to your family?" "Ah, sorry, I was too talkative." "It's okay, Sister Yi, I don't want it." Chapter 498. Her words seemed considerate, but she was actually trying to drive a wedge between them. When the netizens heard this, they immediately felt that Xiangyi's relationship with her brothers wasn't that good after all. Otherwise, why wouldn't they give her a bottle of wine? Unfortunately, Qin Wanyan had underestimated how protective the Xiong family was. Xiangyi frowned. First of all, I don't think this has anything to do with the relationship between family members. Secondly, a good relationship doesn't mean I can do whatever I want with the items. Perhaps the things I find useless are precious and beautiful to my brothers. Qin Wanyan choked. The comments from the Spicy Tutu fans defending Xiangyi immediately flooded the screen. Oh, I'm praising Xiangyi. Qin Wanyan, what's the matter? Have you forgotten how you betrayed Sister E? Sister E is giving you face, but we won't. Go ahead and play your Swona asterisk smile asterisk smile asterisk smile asterisk. My mom gave my favorite hairpin to my cousin. I was so angry, so angry. I cried and she said I was stingy. I really want to have a family like Xiangyi. Asterisk sob asterisk. Some people were bored enough to take a screenshot of the bottle of red wine and immediately jumped up from the sofa. F asterisk CK, F asterisk CK, that bottle of red wine Qin Wanyan once cost 6 figures. How can she be so shameless as to ask for it? For a moment, everyone's impression of Qin Wanyan was extremely poor. Besides, Xiangyi had already said she was going to give her the wine she brewed herself. She should just take whatever she was given. It was basic etiquette to give gifts when visiting others, but not only did she not give anything, she even took the initiative to ask for something. That was a bit inappropriate, wasn't it? Qin Wanyan didn't expect that the good impression she had gained by playing the Swona would disappear because of a few words. It was true that the more one spoke, the more mistakes one would make. However, Qin Wanyan didn't seem to notice and pretended to be magnanimous. Sister E, you have a point. By the way, my friend recommended the Spring Flower Foundation to me. I think it's quite reliable. Why don't we donate some money together? Xiangyi, sorry, not interested. Qin Wanyan, Sister E, I thought you were so kind that you'd be willing to donate money to charity. Xiangyi looked at Qin Wanyan in confusion. Why did she keep saying such strange things? Qin Wanyan was still adding scenes for herself. Maybe I'm too saintly. I can't read this kind of news at all. Every time I see it, I want to help others. Xiangyi found a basket and put 2 small jars of wine in it. She carried it with one hand and said, "It's okay. Kindness is when you feel pity for a person and want to help him. A saint is when you feel pity for a person and want to help the whole world." Qin Wanyan was secretly delighted. This idiot Xiangyi actually praised her for being kind? How brainless. The essence of charity, I think. Xiangyi explained her own understanding. I don't have the right to ask others to do something, but I can decide what I want to do. Immediately, netizens ridiculed, but you didn't do anything. Seeing this, Madame Tsen quickly got someone to cut Xiangyi's words out of context and posted them on the internet. Of course, she didn't forget to include the Spring Flower Foundation and Madame Tsen's charity. #Xiangyi says helping others is saintly. #Xiangyi doesn't have charity and instead doubts Madame Tsen. Madame Tsen thought that this was going to be one of the top searches. However, she didn't expect that the spot she just bought would be pushed down again. Chapter 499. The trending topic was a news video posted by the Finance Channel's official Weibo account. In the past 2 years, the development of our national enterprises in Country A has been hindered repeatedly, especially the recent ban on the products of tomorrow's light technology, which has attracted widespread attention from all walks of life. The company's smart AI voice wearable product has triggered a technological revolution in the field, but it has been banned in Country A for no reason. The reporter stood in front of a magnificent building that looked like a court. In order to defend the legitimate rights and interests of our national enterprises, Tomorrow's Light has hired an excellent team of lawyers with Lawyer Xiang from Lin Chen Law Firm as the core. Today is the day of the trial and it has been more than 6 hours since the start of the trial. Ah, I see, Lawyer Xiang. A large group of reporters swarmed over, not only from the local media but also from foreign media. Sangchen stood in the crowd. Even if he wasn't in the center, he was still the most eye-catching one. Even after a long trial, the man was still elegant and didn't show a trace of fatigue. His tailored dark suit outlined his broad shoulders and long legs. His tie was meticulously tied and his hair was combed back, making him look like an elite. He lowered his eyes and adjusted his cuffs. The person beside him seemed to be saying something to him as he listened attentively with a frown. It was as if the ice on the cedar trees in the distant mountains were being melted by the sun. In the blink of an eye, the reporters had already squeezed in front of the lawyer team. Countless microphones and cameras were aimed at Sangchen. Lawyer Xiang, what's the result? Lawyer Xiang, how are you feeling now? Lawyer Xiang, do you have anything to say? Sangchen looked up. His face was chiseled, as if it was carefully carved by God. We won, he said casually. The crowd cheered. Some people were so excited that they threw their hats and jackets into the air. The reporter from the finance channel couldn't control his emotions and shouted in a choked voice, "We won the trial. The national enterprises won. China's technology industry won." The video paused at the scene where Songchen's thin lips curled up slightly. At the most exciting moment, he smiled incomparably calmly. It was truly stunning, gentle, and inexplicably touching. The comment section was already in a mess. We'll get beaten if we fall behind. But we've become stronger now. The legal team has worked hard. I heard that Lawyer Xiang has put in a lot of effort for this case. He's amazing, really. Sob, sob, sob. I'm looking at Mr. Xiang's smile. I'm crying like a dog in front of the screen. He's withstanding so much pressure and yet he's still so calm. Mr. Xiang, Mr. Riseby. Needless to say, this Weibo post instantly became a trending topic. It completely suppressed the trending topic that Madame Tsen had bought. Madame Tsen was on the verge of breaking down. She called them. What are you doing? Why did my ranking drop again? The staff member was also very helpless. This is a big event. Such a sensational event has aroused everyone's passion. The real-time popularity is not something we can control. Madame Tsen took a step back and said tiredly, "Then guarantee me a spot in the top 5. This time, there can't be any problems." After all, Qin Wanyan was only participating in 2 Under One Roof for 1 day. After tomorrow, how could she have such a good opportunity to promote the Spring Flower Fund? Before he could finish his sentence, the staff member said, I'm afraid I can't guarantee that because there's a new trending topic." Madame Tsen was confused. Chapter 500. She opened Weibo, and as expected, the 4th trending topic was occupied by a term. Hashtag 2 Under One Roof went viral abroad. Hashtag Ms. Tsen was speechless. What the hell is this? She clicked on the term and found that the details were that the overseas version of 2 Under One Roof had been released at midnight. So far, it had dominated all major foreign video websites and social media platforms. The total number of views had already exceeded more than 1 billion. In recent days, variety shows in various countries had developed greatly, and most of them were imported from overseas. Although there were also popular local variety shows, they didn't have much international influence. This time, 2 Under One Roof had achieved the opposite. For the first time, a Chinese variety show had a huge international influence. There were all sorts of comments below. Is this real data? Damn, this little lousy is awesome. It's inconvenient to watch live broadcasts overseas because the internet speed is too slow. I've been watching the edited version, but I didn't expect there to be an official version. Hurry up and support it. I've translated a few of the most liked comments on foreign video websites. Everyone, have a taste. Mysterious cooking techniques from the East. This little fairy has satisfied all my imaginations of Chinese cuisine. So this is the difference between land civilization and ocean civilization. I'm very envious of such a beautiful rural life. God, please let me experience it once in my lifetime. All the major variety shows sent their blessings to Two Under One Roof. Even the official Weibo account of Muyao Satellite TV also posted a Weibo post that read, "May Chinese variety shows get better and better." No matter how fierce the competition was in the country, they had always been united against a common enemy. Two Under One Roof was fighting for the glory of Chinese variety shows. How could they drag them down at such a critical time? Of course, they would still have to compete and fight with each other later on. However, for a short period of time, the major variety shows reached a rare consensus. The netizens also felt honored and felt that they had a great time surfing the waves today. The melons were big and sweet, and they were all filling. The popularity of the Spring Flower Fund dropped again and again, temporarily stopping at 5th place. Mistson thought that she should be able to barely hold on to that position, but when she refreshed the page, she found that the number of terms related to the Spring Flower Fund had dropped again. Mistson was speechless. She watched helplessly as the top trending topic was dropped. That's right, dropped. Madame Tsen went to ask around and found out that this position was specially reserved for major scientific discoveries or national news. As long as the conditions were met, they would unconditionally descend. No matter how much money was spent, it was impossible to suppress this trending topic. In other words, at this moment, the number one trending topic represented the official will. Hashtag Xiang Li is nominated for the Nobel Prize in Medicine. Hashtag Nanqing Daily v. Our country's Dr. Xiang Li discovered a new ingredient in the medicine used to treat cancer. See Primrose. For detailed research results, you can refer to the latest issue of The Lancet. Dr. Xiang had been nominated for the Nobel Prize in Medicine. Like forward and congratulate Dr. Xiang. Once this Weibo post was posted, Weibo went into an uproar. The Nobel Prize. Someone questioned whether it was fake or not and was immediately rebuked. Are you blind? It's been officially certified. I just went to check the thesis. It's at a level that I, a medical noob, will never be able to write in my entire life. I humbly look up to the big shots. Hey, did you notice that the trending searches on Weibo today are all dominated by Xiangyi and Xiangyi's brothers? Chapter 501. Everyone seemed to have woken up from a dream. It wasn't obvious that Logic was on the hot search list, but Hades was the one who made it public. As for Sangchen, he almost never accepted interviews, but this time, he accepted it for the first time. As for Xiang Li, the nomination for the Nobel Prize in Medicine was a secret. Unless the nominee was willing to reveal it. Could it be that he casually revealed the news of his nomination just to cover for his sister and suppress the other hot search lists? This conjecture was too unimaginable, but it was infinitely closer to reality. There was a lot of discussion on the internet. Among the loving family, a childish competition had begun. Sanbao. Ah, you smart people. You're all learning from me. Sibao. Isn't it normal to be on the hot search list after winning a competition? Sanbao. Bah. Don't think I don't know that you deliberately showed off your abs to the camera. Sibao. Unexpected. Bao. Smart people? Smile. Sanbao. You are. Debao, colon? Seeing his brother's question mark, Xiang Qi trembled in front of the screen and frantically clicked on the delete option. Then, he received a notification. This message cannot be deleted. Heaven wants me to die, Xiang Qi wailed. He felt that he would definitely be beaten up the next time he saw his brother. Xiangyi returned to the living room with the wine. Shi Sui handed her phone. Your phone keeps ringing. Huh? Did someone have something urgent to tell her? Xiangyi took it and realized that the group chat was vibrating. Her third brother was sending all kinds of kneeling and crying emojis. The corners of her lips curled up as she sent a cute picture. Xiaobao, your little cutie suddenly appeared. JPG in an instant. The brothers in the group all appeared. Sibao, sister, I won the competition and even won the MVP award. I'll give you the trophy when we get back. San Bao. Sister. I made you a new dress and leather shoes. There are also laced socks. Bao. Little rabbit, how's your hand? De Bao. Rest well. As if he felt that he did not care enough about his sister, Sanction furrowed his brows at the celebration party. He typed seriously, as if he was dealing with a complicated case. De Bao. Tutu, drink more hot water. Looking at her brother's concern for her, Xiangyi felt warm in her heart. She shared her recent daily life with her brothers and even sent a few photos to prove that she was in good health and in a good mood. She posted 5 photos, and every man in front of the screen, without exception, began to save his sister's photo. However, as time passed, the 4 of them realized that something was wrong. Sibao, why are they all photos with brother Shi? Sanbao, I'm so angry. How can a man like him take a photo with my sister? Bao, smiley de Bao, ha. Seeing her brother's replies, Xiangyi quivered and came to her senses. However, she could not be blamed. Recently, the photos on her phone were all photos with Shi Sui. She rarely took any photos. Most of them were taken by Shi Sui or by the staff. She had no choice. Her boyfriend loved to take photos, so she could only spoil him. Little did she know that a certain best actor had long planned this. Xiangyi looked at her fingers guiltily. After hesitating for a few seconds, she made a bold move. System notification. Xiaobao has invited Shi Sui to join the group chat. De Bao? Question mark. Bao. San Bao. Si Bao. The next second, Xiaobao. Let me introduce to everyone, this is my boyfriend Shi Sui Rose. Chapter 502. The loving family was in an uproar. Sanction and Xiang Li were still able to keep their cool, but Xiang Yu and Xiang Feng had already gone crazy. One was an esports guru, while the other was a sewing guru. The 2 of them were so fast that they spammed 99+ messages within minutes. If it weren't for Shi Sui's message, the 2 of them would have spammed 999+ messages. Shi Sui, hello, brothers. The wavy line successfully made the brothers grit their teeth. In Xiangyi's eyes, the girl rested her chin on her hand, thinking that her boyfriend was so cute. Even his message was so soft and cute. She shook her little finger and typed a message seriously. Xiaobao, Shi Sui is the man I like, and my brothers are my most important family. To me, we are a loving family. Shake hands. Loving family? Loving family my ass. The expressions of the brothers in front of the screen were getting worse and worse. On the balcony, Xiangyi was resting there. The program team had set up a safe zone. If she was tired from the live broadcast, she could go back to her room and rest for a while. Shi Sui held the railing with both hands and flipped over easily. He sat down on the rattan chair next to Xiangyi and asked in a low voice, "Why did you suddenly give me a status?" Xiangyi stared at him suspiciously. "Boyfriend, why do I feel that you're so skilled at flipping over the balcony?" Shi Sui's expression didn't change. "I've acted in similar scenes before. After a few takes, I know how to flip over." "Is that so?" Xiangyi blinked and asked a little embarrassedly, "Do you not want to make it public?" "I just feel that it's not good to hide it from my brothers." "I'll listen to Sister E." Shi Sui lowered his eyes. "Sister E can do whatever she wants to me." Xiangyi's ears turned red. Then aren't you afraid that I'll do something bad to you?" Shi Sui looked up at her and smiled softly. "Sister E, what bad things do you want to do? Can I spoil it?" Xiangyi's ears turned even redder. She waved her hand and said, I was just talking nonsense." Alas, she couldn't lead Shi Sui astray. The girl looked down at her phone and found that there were a few new messages in the group. De Bao, Tutu, I've booked an early morning flight back to China. Bao, little rabbit, I'll look for you after I'm done with the Nobel Prize. Sanbao, wait until I finish sewing the last dress for my sister. Shi Sui, I'll kill you. Sibao, sister, wait for me to bring the trophy to you. By the way, How was the effect of smashing people with the trophy? Xiangyi. Her brothers didn't seem to like Shi Sui. Why was that? Shi Sui was so nice. The girl blamed herself and said, I'm sorry, if I had known, I wouldn't have pulled you into the group. Shi Sui held her hand and gently pinched her fingertips. I'm very happy that Sister Yi brought me to meet her family. I feel like I have a few more family members. Thinking about how the Shi family's family ties were thin and how Shi Sui had been alone since he was young without his parents by his side, Xiangyi suddenly felt extremely sad. Her slender fingers passed through the man's slender fingertips and firmly interlocked with his. This is just an online meeting. Next time, I'll bring you to meet them in real life. The girl promised firmly. I'll definitely protect you well. Shi Sui was slightly stunned. His dark eyes immediately lit up with a smile. Sister Yi, you're so nice. Xiangyi, you're nice too. Shi Sui chuckled. Are we mutually flattering each other? The girl shook her head. It's only right to praise your boyfriend. Bang. His heart felt like it had been targeted by a sniper. Shi Sui understood that he had nowhere to run. He had never wanted to run away. Chapter 503. The production team distributed a vegetable collection mission card. Tianji was particularly interested in planting vegetables and took his 2 disciples to the vegetable garden for a stroll. Ling Ye's body was weak, and he was already panting heavily after walking a short distance. You'd better listen to the doctor and exercise more. Tianji sounded stern, but he was actually feeling sorry for him and quickly handed him a tissue. Thank you, master. Ling Yi had never been willing to accept the kindness of others. No matter what, he would have to leave sooner or later. However, perhaps because of Xiangyi's influence, he suddenly felt that this old man was quite pleasing to the eye. He chatted with the old man about planting vegetables while picking vegetables from the basket on his back. Qin Wanyan found them to be country bumpkins and was unwilling to join them. She stood under the shade of a tree at the side, worried that the vegetable garden would dirty her expensive white shoes. She kept spraying sunscreen spray, for fear that the ultraviolet rays would make her tan. The more refined she was, the more the audience disliked her. Qin Wanyan, can you be more professional? You're filming a show, yet you're afraid of the sun and the dirt. Even Ling Yi is picking tomatoes, but Qin Wanyan isn't doing anything, is she? Qin Wanyan is so lazy. Sister Yi's hand is fractured and she could only carry the wine with one hand. Qin Wanyan didn't help at all. Even though the system reminded Qin Wanyan to get to work, Qin Wanyan still refused to move. Please, I'm the chosen one. Who would want to do such dirty and tiring work? Isn't it enough to be beautiful? Why do I have to be diligent? I don't want to be as silly as Xiangyi, who's looking for work when there's nothing to do. Besides, Ms. Tsen had promised to provide her with resources. What else did she have to worry about? Qin Wanyan eagerly opened her chat with Ms. Tsen, only to realize that she didn't reply to her message at all. What's going on? Didn't she promise to take me to the socialites' tea party? Qin Wanyan panicked and hurriedly opened Weibo, only to be dumbfounded. What's going on with this trending topic? Not only were the top 5 trending topics dominated, but there were also other trending topics that almost filled the top 20 trending topics. What does it mean to be on the list? This is. The vegetable picking mission was completed. Qin Wanyan followed Tianji and Ling Yi in a daze. When Tianji saw that Ling Yi was struggling, he suggested, Wanyan, help Ling Yi share some of the burden. Ling Yi declined. There's no need for that, master. I still have the strength to do this. Qin Wanyan said, then I won't stand on ceremony with you. Netizens. Such a cute and pitiful little angel brother. You must be made of iron and blind to say such a thing, right? Coincidentally, they bumped into Shi Sui and Xiangyi on their way to Little Rabbit Farm. The two of them were driving a bumper car that no one knew where they got from. Shi Sui, who always wore high-end clothes and had an extraordinary bearing, was sitting in the bumper car with her long legs bent. She was slowly following behind Xiangyi's bumper car. He never seemed to mind doing childish things with Xiangyi. Xiangyi frowned when she saw Ling Yi panting. She jumped out of the car and walked over to Ling Yi. "Give me the basket." Ling Yi subconsciously said, "I'm a man." Whoosh. Xiangyi didn't give him a chance to refuse. She easily picked up the basket with one hand and weighed it lightly. "Little kid, don't carry such heavy things. You won't grow tall." She tossed the keys to Ling Yi. "Drive it back." Ling Yi gulped. F***ck. It's over. He was really done for. Chapter 504. At the beginning, Ling Yi still wanted to play some tricks on Xiangyi, but now, he had completely restrained himself. Subconsciously, he felt that those filthy things shouldn't appear in front of Xiangyi. Qin Wanyan's voice sounded at an untimely moment. "Xiangyi, why are you so nice to Ling Yi?" For a moment, Tianji's expression was extremely sullen. No matter how much he admired Qin Wanyan's talent in playing the Suona, he couldn't tolerate her low EQ. Shi Sui stepped on the brakes of the bumper car and tapped the steering wheel lazily. His deep peach blossom eyes narrowed slightly behind his glasses as he stared at the girl. Xiangyi said in a puzzled tone, "Isn't it natural for adults to take care of children? Besides, he's a child who's visiting my house." Qin Wanyan looked at Ling Yi, who was 180 centimeters tall, and sneered. "Him? He's a child?" "Minors are all children," Xiangyi said. Ling Yi's heart suddenly warmed. Others might not understand Xiangyi's logic, but Shi Sui did. Before she became an adult, she had always been treated like a child by her family. Growing up in an environment where she was doted on, she wouldn't hesitate to be nice to others. Because in her world, it was a matter of course. In the live stream, some netizens were getting restless. "I'll stand for 1 second, I'll stand for 1 second. Ling Yi is so obedient and nurturing in front of Sister E. I'm going to knock it out. Gentle Sister X sickly brother, I love the redemption and healing type awe." Some netizens also suddenly realized something. "I suddenly understand why Sister E is so nice to the puppy. It turns out that she treats him like a child." After comparing the EQ of Xiangyi and Qin Wanyan, Tianji let out a long sigh. Well, no one is perfect. After all, Qin Wanyan was his little disciple. If she didn't understand, he could teach her slowly in the future. However, at this moment, Tianji suddenly had a trace of doubt in his heart. Why had he been so impulsive as to accept Qin Wanyan as his disciple? It wasn't that he hadn't seen any good seedlings in the past few years. However, after Qin Wanyan played her Suona that day, he seemed to have been bewitched. He made the decision on the spot and even broke his own rule of not accepting any disciples. How strange. Ling Yi sat on the bumper car and was somewhat eager to give it a try. However, when he saw the basket in the girl's hand, he hesitated. "Sister, can you carry something so heavy?" Xiangyi said, "I didn't take it." Qin Wanyan exclaimed, "Xiangyi, I don't mean to criticize you, but how could you let Shi Yingdi do such a thing?" Before she could finish her pretentious words, she saw Xiangyi take out her phone and fiddle with it. Soon, a cute robot drove out from a nearby room, dragging a small cart behind it. Xiangyi put the basket on it. The robot sang nursery rhymes and pulled the basket full of vegetables to the designated destination. Humans are the most amazing creatures on Earth. They retain their fire seeds and eat cooked food. They have evolved intelligence and learn to make and use tools. However, the most incredible thing is that they often choose not to use them. After Xiangyi finished speaking, she looked at Qin Wanyan and imitated Tianji's words. "I'm neither harsh nor malicious. I'm not hostile. I'm just expressing my literal meaning. I'm not sarcastic or hinting at anything. The above expression represents my personal opinion. I don't intend to cause a debate or encroach on public resources. Please forgive me for my inappropriate language." Qin Wanyan's face instantly turned the color of pig liver. What does Xiangyi mean? Is she mocking me for being brainless? Chapter 505. Hearing Xiangyi's words, the spicy tutu fans in the live stream were overjoyed. Ha ha ha, Sister E is indeed you, you're so good at retorting. When it comes to the importance of studying, Sister E is so impressive, unlike me, who can say F*CK everywhere. That's right, Qin Wanyan can totally get a tricycle or something to help her out. She's not doing any work, yet she's still mocking her. Is she here to be a guest or to be an ancestor? Qin Wanyan pondered for a long time and finally came up with a rebuttal. However, Xiangyi didn't even look at her and simply walked towards Shi Sui's bumper car. She noticed that Shi Sui was driving a two-person bumper car. She didn't know if it was a coincidence or a necessity. Handsome boy, can I hitch a ride? The girl seemed calm and composed, but in fact, she was so shy that her fingertips were curled up. Shi Sui smiled and said, Your Highness, please. Xiangyi's eyes curved into crescents as she lifted her skirt and bowed before getting into the bumper car. The interaction between the two was so natural and sweet that the netizens in the live stream who were still in favor of the evil couple just a moment ago had vividly demonstrated what it meant to be a traitor. F*CK. I'm dead, I'm dead. A bumper car is still a car, sisters. Boo-hoo, I'm so envious of this kind of interaction. Shi Sui's sister Yi's way of getting along is so comfortable. Shi Sui started the car and placed his well-defined hands on the cartoon-like steering wheel. His fair and slender body was beautiful, and every screenshot was a benefit of his handheld control. Sister, Ling Yi murmured. Xiangyi looked at him in confusion. Huh? The young man's skin was pale, and only his lips were red. He was so thin that he looked like he could be blown away by a gust of wind. However, a blazing light flickered in his amber eyes. However, everything was well hidden by Ling Yi. Sister, come back soon, I'll be good and wait for you. The young man tilted his head and smiled. Behind him was a gorgeous sea of flowers, a fountain flowing, and white pigeons flying in the air. It was as if an angel had descended to earth. It was like the cleanest and purest smile in the world. Many people were screaming in the bullet screen, My dear Wan, Grandma's brother is so cute. However, Xiangyi's response to Ling Yi was an indifferent, Oh. Ling Yi. The young man's eyes drooped in desolation. His back was against the light, and his entire being sank into the shadows, making him appear even more lonely. Tianji sighed again. Why couldn't these two disciples of his let him be at ease? The four sufferings of life are greed, anger and infatuation, resentment and hatred, love and separation, and being unable to obtain. If this brat did not withdraw in time, he would suffer greatly. When Xiangyi saw the pitiful look on Ling Ye's face, her cherry lips moved. She wanted to tell him that there were snacks in the living room, but Shi Sui suddenly started the car and drove forward without looking back. The girl tilted her head. You're speeding. Shi Sui raises her eyebrows. Are there any traffic laws here? Yes. Xiangyi pointed at herself and said seriously, This is my home. I have the final say. Shi Sui slowed down the car. Xiangyi praised, That's a good boy. It's dangerous to drive too fast. When the untimely CP fans saw this scene, their hearts skipped a beat. Sister E wouldn't treat Shi Sui as a child, would she? No. Wouldn't that become Shi Sui's one-sided love? The next second, Shi Sui chuckled softly and said leisurely, Okay sister, Xiangyi, ! She widened her doe eyes and looked at Shi Sui in disbelief. The man's voice was tired and hoarse, and it fell into her red ears. Sister, I didn't know that you get shy so easily. Chapter 506. That last syllable was mellow and flirtatious, and it was even more magnetic after it was deliberately lowered. Xiangyi wasn't the only one who was stunned. The netizens watching the live stream went crazy. This man is so darn sweet. I'm inhaling oxygen. Oh my god, Shering-di is so good at this. Damn it, I never thought that I would feel dizzy and my legs would turn to jelly just because he called me sister. This is worse than fake alcohol. Xiangyi pinched her palms. Her ears were already red, but she was still stubborn. How can you call me sister? You're clearly older than me. Can't I call you sister just because I'm older than you? The man asked matter-of-factly. His low chuckle was like an electric current that bloomed like little flowers. Sister, do you think I'm old? Xiangyi was speechless. She took a deep breath and repeated it several times before finally calming down. I don't. You can call me whatever you want. The girl pretended to be calm and took out her cell phone. I'll ask Ling Yi and the rest what they want to eat tonight. She had forgotten that she had already blacklisted Ling Yi. However, Shui had no idea that she had blacklisted him. He squinted his peach blossom eyes and turned the steering wheel. His low and hoarse voice sounded a little aggrieved. Am I not good enough? Why don't you ask me what I want to eat, sister? Xiangyi's hand trembled and she almost dropped her cell phone. She swallowed her saliva and said, Don't call me sister. Oh? But didn't you just say that I can call you whatever I want? Xiangyi suddenly felt that she had dug a hole, and she had jumped into it without thinking about her own safety. The blush spread from her ears to her milky white swan neck, standard square shoulders, and thin back. Xiangyi put on the hood of her coat as if she was trying to deceive herself. Then what do you want to eat? I want to eat. Shui said lazily. Sister. The netizens watching the live stream were shocked. This is a magical couple. They're actually giving out love online. You want to eat, sister? What kind of words are these? After a while, Shui said slowly, Let me think. Don't think. I'll eat, sister. Friendly reminder, tutus braised, spicy, and barbecue dishes are delicious. That's right. Eating in the study, eating on the windowsill, and eating in the kitchen is also delicious. For a moment, the bullet screen was filled with comments. The car was so fast that it was impossible to catch up with the car even when it was drifting around a bend. To Xiangyi, every time he called her sister, it was like a sniper had accurately hit her heart. Oh. The girl covered her face with her hands. She couldn't take it anymore. You take your time to think about it. I want to get out of the car and take a walk. You want to run away after getting in my car? Shui laughed. It's too late. Hearing this, the netizens expressed that today's sugar intake was, it's over the limit. The scene cut to the courtyard. Tianji was so tired that he gasped for breath. He reached for the cup, but it was empty. Qin Wanyan pretended not to notice and continued to play with her phone. Tianji wanted to say something, but he didn't say anything in the end. Ling Yi, on the other hand, got up and poured a glass of water for Tianji. The bullet screen comments scolding Qin Wanyan flooded. Qin Wanyan's fans were indignant and brought up the topic of Xiangyi's charity fraud again. Unfortunately, no one fell for their tricks this time. Some spicy tutu fans questioned, even if Sister E didn't do charity, did your Qin Wanyan do charity? Qin Wanyan's fans were not confident. Our immortal Qin isn't a fair-skinned, rich, and beautiful girl like Xiangyi. Spicy tutu fans asked again, then, did you do charity? Smile, Qin Wanyan's fans. I'm just an ordinary person. The netizens were dumbfounded. Isn't this a little too much? Chapter 507. We're both humans, so why does Xiangyi have to do charity while Qin Wanyan has all kinds of excuses? The spicy tutu fans quickly found a loophole in the other party's words and retaliated. You're attacking Sister E because Sister E doesn't do charity, but what have you done? Sister E didn't steal, rob, or break the law. Her whole family is made of elites who rely on their own hands to earn money. It's fine if she doesn't want to donate. I'm dying of laughter. You guys are really good at using double standards. Sister E is still so diligent even though she's injured. What about your Qin Wanyan? She doesn't even give her master a sip of water. How awesome! Qin Wanyan's fans gradually lost the upper hand. In the living room, Qin Wanyan anxiously waited for Ms. Tsun's reply, but to no avail. Instead, as soon as she opened Weibo, she was flooded with negative comments about her. Qin Wanyan was dumbfounded. Why are all the netizens scolding me? When she saw the comments that said she had no EQ, was lazy, and that her fans were annoying, Qin Wanyan panicked. She had participated in Two Under One Roof to gain more fans, not to lose them. Oh right. Xiangyi's donation fraud. Her eyes darted around, wanting to continue making a fuss about this matter. Hence, she pretended to slip, and liked the Spring Flower Foundation's Weibo post stating that Xiangyi didn't donate. However, at the same time, a user named Splendid Shanhua posted a long post on Weibo that went viral. Splendid Shanhua, today, I saw Sister Xiangyi getting scolded for a donation fraud. I went to watch the live stream and Sister E didn't say that she donated money. I don't know why it was misinterpreted. Sister Xiangyi is really a very nice person. The primary school in our mountain village was built by her with donations a few years ago. The school is very clean and beautiful. She's really a very considerate and warm person. Not only did she build the school, but she also provides 3 meals a day for free. Those who have never experienced hunger might not be able to understand how blissful it is to have a full meal for the first time. The school's washroom also provided free toilet paper and sanitary napkins for the girls to use. I'm really grateful. If it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't have been able to use sanitary pads every month and could only use paper pads. I used to think that menstruation was a shameful and expensive thing. It's no exaggeration to say that it was Sister Xiangyi who gave me dignity. I want to say that she has really done a lot. She has done very well. He hoped that there would be more kindness, more gentleness, and more beauty in this world. Just like an elder sister. Not only was this Weibo post simple and touching, but there were also pictures attached. The buildings in the photo, although not as luxurious as the city, were clean and beautiful. In the washroom, there were female products. Although they were just ordinary brands, they were enough to solve some of the girls' problems. At first, it was Spicy Tutu fans who reposted, commented, and liked the post. But as it gained popularity, more and more people were surprised to find out that Xiangyi had not faked the donation. Instead, she had really done charity. With the first person who bravely spoke out, more and more people who had been helped by Xiangyi came forward. In the end, the netizens did an incomplete count and found that Xiangyi and the Xiang family had donated to dozens of primary schools, orphanages, and public health organizations. After conversion, the amount spent on charity each year was an astronomical figure. However, the Xiang family had never publicized it. The tables had turned. The entire internet was in an uproar. Chapter 508. Xiangyi and the Xiang family are actually doing so much charity in secret. The netizens continued to gossip and realized that the charity that the Xiang family was involved in was very clear about the details of the funds, and they wouldn't just ignore it. For example, the school's 3 free meals, and even the price of the potatoes, chili, and vegetables for each meal would be publicly announced. It was clear at a glance. It was pure and innocent. Seeing this, the netizens had mixed feelings. It was fine to do charity if one had the money or the time. However, anyone could tell that he was definitely not putting on a show. They were really doing it with their hearts. The netizens' comments gradually became more objective. To be honest, Xiangyi and the Xiang family are quite nice. We have to wait for the news now, maybe there will be a twist. The free meals and free female products really deserve a like. They're so kind. The netizens followed the clues and found another strange thing. The Spring Flower Foundation had clearly received so many donations, but why didn't they disclose the whereabouts of the funds? Someone questioned the Spring Flower Foundation's Weibo account, but the comment was instantly deleted. The more it was deleted, the greater the backlash. More and more people questioned it, and some even threatened to report it to the relevant departments. Only then did Ms. Tsin get anxious and get someone to rush out a list and make it public. However, everyone was confused when they saw it. Sanitary pads, 10 packs per person, 500 yuan. Toilet paper, 10 packs per person, 200 yuan. The netizens were speechless. 50 yuan for a pack of sanitary pads? 20 yuan for a pack of toilet paper? This is too much charity, right? To be honest, instead of donating imported and expensive female products to these girls, it's better to provide cheap female products for free like the school that Xiangyi built. That can help more people. Am I the only one who thinks that there's something wrong with the list? This list is obviously a lie. When I did an asset evaluation for the company before, I saw a company's financial statement that showed that each employee used up a few thousand yuan of toilet paper every month on average. Actually, the purchasing department was just greedy. Without comparison, there would be no harm. The Spring Flower Foundation originally had a good reputation, but it was precisely because it rode on Xiangyi's popularity that people found out about the charity that Xiangyi was doing. Comparing the two, the Spring Flower Foundation suddenly seemed less formal and professional. There were also public relations companies in the industry that revealed that the annual marketing expenses of the Spring Flower Fund were as high as tens of millions. The netizens, especially those who had donated money to the Spring Flower Foundation, were furious. We are donating money for you to do charity, not for you to use it for marketing purposes. Madame Tsin also did not escape the fate of being exposed. With the help of the resourceful netizens, her dark history of being a mistress and engaging in pyramid schemes was all exposed. Only now did everyone realize that the Spring Flower Foundation and Qin Wanyan's actions were to trample on Xiangyi. Damn it! They were actually being used as cannon fodder. Everyone worked together. First, they reported the Spring Flower Foundation for breaking the law. Then, they rushed to Qin Wanyan's Weibo. Qin Wanyan's fans, on the other hand, were slapped in the face as hard as they had been cursing at the beginning. She didn't have many fans left. After this incident, even the most loyal fans woke up and left on a large scale. When Qin Wanyan saw this, her expression was one of shock and fear. She hurriedly sent another message to Madame Tsin, only to find that she had been blacklisted by Madame Tsin. Qin Wanyan. Chapter 509. An unprecedented sense of defeat engulfed him. Qin Wanyan couldn't understand. She was clearly the chosen one. She was chosen to transmigrate and was about to achieve a perfect life. Why did things turn out this way? It's Xiangyi. It's all Xiangyi's fault. Why does she have to do so much charity work? If she didn't do it, I wouldn't be implicated. Qin Wanyan's resentment was all transferred to Xiangyi. On the other side, Madame Tsin wasn't having a good time either. She had already received many calls from socialites and madams, all of whom were asking her about the Spring Flower Foundation. After a round of Tai Chi, Madame Tsin was exhausted. Her phone rang again. She picked it up to see that it was from her assistant. Madame Tsin answered impatiently, "What's the matter? Why must you bother me at this time?" Her assistant trembled and said, "Madame Tsin, bad news, something has happened." New gossip broke out on Weibo. The relevant department announced on Weibo that they had begun investigating the Spring Flower Foundation's illegal fundraising case. The netizens were in an uproar. Oh my, it seems like there's really something wrong with the Spring Flower Foundation. Otherwise, they wouldn't have used the word case. This is tantamount to committing a crime. The Spring Flower Foundation, which had made such a big splash, probably didn't expect such a fate to befall them. Some netizens sighed and quoted a line from a play, watching him build a vermilion tower, watching him entertain guests, watching him collapse. Madame Tsin's social media app suddenly deleted her Weibo. It was as if she had disappeared from the internet. The netizens guessed that she was probably afraid that the Weibo posts where she flaunted her wealth would be found. There were laws that forbade one from doing so. If one violated the law, one should never take any chances. Little Rabbit Farm. Shi Sui parked the two-person bumper car and Xiangyi jumped down lightly. The man behind her reminded her helplessly, "Be careful." "Got it." The general manager of Little Rabbit Farm, Wang Xuanli, came to welcome her. "Miss Yi, you're here. Do you want to try the new products?" It was precisely because Xiangyi established Little Rabbit Farm that many people's employment problems were solved. Furthermore, after learning the skills, they could leave and start their own businesses. Wang Xuanli was truly grateful to Xiangyi from the bottom of his heart. "Okay." Xiangyi took 2 steps before she stopped and turned around as if she had thought of something. Wang Xuanli turned his head in confusion and asked, "What's wrong, Miss Yi?" "Wait. Shi Sui." Wang Xuanli. "Why does it feel like Miss Yi is still a student waiting to go to the bathroom with her best friend?" Shi Sui moved his long legs and walked towards Xiangyi with a smile. Even if Xiangyi didn't have to wait for him, he could still catch up to her quickly. But the feeling of someone waiting for him, it was really different. The Shi Sui sisters in front of the screen sensed that Shi Sui seemed to be more relaxed. He had always been polite to people, but he was very distant. However, in front of Xiangyi, he was especially happy and at ease. Although he didn't want to admit it, but they had to admit, Shi Sui didn't like Xiangyi for nothing. Wang Xuanli brought the two of them to sit down beside an old sycamore tree. The tree crown was lush, and there were stone tables and stools. The weather was light and breezy, making them feel relaxed. "This is the layout we made according to Miss Yi's recipe. There are a total of 3 flavors: onion oil noodles, meat sauce noodles, and a special spicy sauce noodles." Wang Xuanli introduced them one by one. The netizens watching the live stream were excited. "Ah, they're finally going to release a new product." Chapter 510. I love noodles so much, they actually came up with 3 flavors at once. Buy it all. Must buy it all. To the people in front, wake up. Little Rabbit Farm's online store is all about snatching. It's not a dog's head that you can buy whenever you want. Amidst everyone's anticipation, Wang Xuanli tore open the packaging of the noodles. The bag adhered to Little Rabbit Farm's usual design, simple and elegant, with a cute rabbit logo printed on it. After opening it, there was a bag of noodles and a bag of condiments inside. The noodles were semi-finished products, so the noodles had to be cooked first. Wang Xuanli had prepared 3 small electric cookers. "Miss Yi, shall I cook?" Shi Sui naturally took the noodles and said, "I'll do it." "No, no, no, you're a superstar, how can you do such a thing?" Wang Xuanli was a little nervous, but when he saw Xiangyi smiling at Shi Sui, he suddenly understood. Wow, Miss Yi's gaze is so similar to the way she looks at spicy rabbit heads. Miss Yi is lusting after this man's body. But this superstar is really good looking. Her nose is a nose, her eyes are eyes, and her legs are long. A simple and honest smile gradually appeared on Wang Xuanli's face. The noodles were soon cooked. Shi Sui scooped the noodles into a bowl and added the condiments accordingly. The pale yellow buckwheat noodles were thin and tender, and after mixing the condiments well, they appeared bright and smooth. "Try it." Shi Sui handed a pair of chopsticks to Xiangyi with a gentle gaze. Xiangyi tasted the onion oil noodles first. The first thing that entered her nose was the rich aroma of onion, but it didn't seem too oily. She nodded and commented, "The noodles are smooth, the onion oil is fragrant, and the saltiness and sweetness are just right." The noodles in the 3 bags were all the same, the only difference was the condiments. Next was the meat sauce noodles. The meat sauce wasn't too finely chopped, which gave it a meaty texture. The pork used was fat and lean, which made it fragrant enough. The sauce is on the sweet side, those who like sweet things should like this. After Xiangyi commented, she asked Wang Xuanli to mail a box of noodles to her uncle, Xiang Feng. Last was the spicy sauce noodles. The chili was a variety grown in Little Rabbit Farm. It was very spicy, but it was more fragrant than normal chili. When the red-hot sauce was sprinkled on it, it made people salivate. Xiangyi took a bite and her eyes lit up. She wanted to eat more, but Shi Sui took away the small bowl in front of her. Your hand hasn't recovered yet, so you shouldn't eat heavy food. Just one more bite, just one more bite. Be a good girl, Sister E, Shi Sui said with a teasing smile. Or do you want me to continue calling you sister? Xiangyi, I'm not eating any more. I can resist the temptation of delicious food, but I can't resist the temptation of a boyfriend. The couple's fans were very satisfied as they ate their candies. The other netizens were already drooling. Sister Yi's standards are too high, right? I can smell the fragrance even through the screen. Oh, it's sugar-free buckwheat noodles. I must have such healthy food. Don't you guys feel like watching Sister E eat makes you feel especially appetizing? I've already started watching it as a mukbang. The girl didn't eat the noodles slowly, but because of her small face, her cheeks would puff up like a little hamster that had stolen food. Moreover, she was very serious about everything she ate. She gave people the feeling that everything she ate was delicious. After she announced that the product had passed the test, Wang Xunli said, "Then I'll get someone to put it up for sale in the online store." Okay, done. Why is it suddenly taken off the shelves? Chapter 5:11. Ha! Xiangyi was puzzled. Is there a problem with the internet? Wang Xunli refreshed the page, but it still showed that the product had been taken off the shelves. He scratched his head, his tan face full of confusion. I'll get someone to take a look. Wang Xunli was a professional when it came to growing vegetables, but he wasn't familiar with the business process of an online store. Could it be that the keywords violated the rules, so it was taken off the shelves by the officials? Xiangyi guessed. In the live stream, the fans were yelling, "Sister E, wake up. It's sold out. How many years have you guys been single? Why is it gone as soon as I clicked on the page? I'm crying, it sold out in 10 seconds. Even an internet celebrity store wouldn't sell out so quickly, right? Sister E is comparable to a live streamer." The technician quickly gave Wang Xunli a reply. "It's sold out." Wang Xunli was dumbfounded. "We prepared a lot of stock this time, there are thousands of servings." Little Rabbit Farm had all the necessary procedures, but in order to pursue quality products, the scale was not large. It was almost equivalent to the output of a small studio. A few thousand servings was really a lot. Besides, the mixed noodles this time weren't cheap either. There were 38 small servings and 58 large servings. Wang Xunli thought that it would be a little difficult to sell. A foodie fan of Little Rabbit Farm complained in the live stream, "Wang Xunli, do you have a misunderstanding of the word a lot? Who can eat a few thousand servings? Hurry up and produce. Do you have enough manpower in the factory? If not, I'll apply for a job right now." Xiangyi was also a little surprised by this figure. She didn't pay much attention to the online store and didn't care much about the income of the online store. Most of it was used for the Little Rabbit Farm Research Fund. "It turns out that our family's products are selling quite well?" Xiangyi exclaimed. The netizens were speechless. Is this the frustration of a rich woman? Can't she even manage her own business? Wang Xunli, then I'll go arrange the production plan. Xiangyi, don't worry about the production, we must ensure the quality. After a pause, she tilted her head and asked Shi Sui, "What do you think?" Wang Xunli was stunned and subconsciously looked at Shi Sui. This. Miss E, don't tell me you're not only lusting after my body, but also my heart. Shi Sui said gently, "Sister E is right. I'll listen to Sister E." Okay. Xiangyi nodded. That's all for now. I'll go back and study the proportion of the chili oil formula. Wang Xunli was overjoyed. Miss E, your chili oil will definitely sell well. He had tasted the chili oil made by Xiangyi, and the taste was really amazing. If he put it into the porridge, he wouldn't even need to add any other ingredients. He would be able to drink the entire bowl of porridge with a mouthful of fragrance. The foodie fans were both excited and upset. What made him excited was that the products of Little Rabbit Farm would definitely be of high quality. The worst part was that they had money but couldn't spend it. How could they do business like this? As a result, the comments in the live stream became like this: "Sister E, I have money. Please, take my money. I have a friend who has cancer. I want to try Sister Ye's chili oil dog head while I'm still alive." F***ck, a certain second-hand platform is already reselling Little Rabbit Farm's noodles. The small portion has already risen to 200 yuan per bag. F***ck, it's so expensive, don't buy it. This is inflating the prices. To the person in front, I don't believe you. You must have secretly taken photos. Ahem, don't expose me even if you can see through it. The comments were harmonious, and the hashtag 10 seconds off the shelves horrifying hashtag climbed to the bottom of the trending searches. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.